Okay, cool. So we're recording. So if you want to introduce yourself and we can get started.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alyssa Overby. I'm here today to talk to you about Lamar University and all of the cool opportunities that you could possibly have here at the university. I did graduate from Lamar myself. I also just recently graduated from Texas Tech with my master's in higher education. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys. And let me click on the screen so it goes forward. A little bit of history about us. So we were founded in Beaumont, Texas in 1923 as South Park Junior College. We were named after Marable B. Lamar, who is considered the father of public education in Texas. So he's kind of the guy responsible for, you having to wake up and go to school every day. I know it's a little bit different right now with the whole, pandemic going on, but either way, you still get up and, log into Zoom or something like that. And then in 1971, that's when we actually became a four-year university. We did have a few name changes between 1923 and 1971, but we've been Lamar University since 1971. A little bit more about our campus. So we sit on about 292 acres. That graphic is still a little bit out of date. So if you were here in one of my presentations last semester, I'm pretty sure it still said 270, but it's 292, somewhere in that area. We are constantly expanding and buying, new land in the area to help, keep expanding the university. We have about 9,100 undergraduate students. Typically about 2,500 of those will live on campus. We are kind of a big commuter school, so we kind of have, two different sets of students. We have your commuter students and then the ones that live on campus. But overall, it's only about 9,100 undergraduate students. In total, we sit at about 15,000 students. So we have a pretty big graduate population and things like that. We do have a 19-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So that just means for every 19 students, you have one professor. Not necessarily saying that you're only going to have 19 students per classroom. Typically, from my experience, it was about 30, 35. And then once you move up into, your junior, senior level courses, it does tend to drop down a little bit. So you are going to have a smaller classroom, kind of like what you're probably used to in high school, where if you actually need, further guidance from your professor, they're definitely going to be there for you. They're going to know your name and all of that good stuff. We do have a lot of students that receive financial aid. So about 68% of our students do receive, scholarships or, FAFSA, TASFA money. And then we do have a lot of students that also work on campus. I know I always like to point this out because definitely for me, I had to work when I was going through college. And it's just nice little extra money for your pocket to help pay for car insurance, your phone bill, or something like that. And then most importantly, we are only 1 hour away from the beach, which is a little bit different from what you guys have up here being so inland. So if you are wanting to get down on the coast and actually, maybe go camp at the beach, or you like to go fishing or what have you, we're definitely a really cool place for that. So for our students, whenever you're looking at enrollment by gender, it is about 65% female, about 35% male. And then on the right-hand side, you do see our enrollment by ethnicity. So the numbers that are inside of the little bubbles, so this 47% white, 25% African American, these were from, last year. So I went ahead and kind of updated it, but left them in there so you can kind of see, how it changes at Lamar University. So we did have our Hispanic population increase by 3%. For our African American population, it's about 23%. And then for our current Caucasian population, it's about 46%. The next thing that we're going to talk about is all of the different colleges that we have on campus. So we have about 5 different colleges. I'm going to go through each one of them, kind of give you the main points about them. For the first one, this is our College of Arts and Sciences. So it is our biggest college on campus. It encompasses most of our major, well, not most of them, but a good majority of them. I know typically a lot of students like to major in like pre-med or pre-pharmacy, pre-physical therapy. Just so you know, those majors, you actually do major in something else. So for pre-med, you would actually major in biology or something of that sort. So just keep that in mind whenever, you're thinking about what you want to do. If you are interested in one of these pre-majors, you can always go onto our website and there's going to be a list of suggested majors that you could go, pick from. And that way, you can go into medical school or physical therapy school or, whichever one it is that you're most passionate about. And this is also our School of Nursing. So we are typically ranked somewhere in the top 4, in the state of Texas for our nursing program. In 2018, we did have a 97% pass rate on the NCLEX for our students graduating. If you're not too sure what the NCLEX is, essentially, after you graduate from college, you still have one more test to take, and that is through the state of Texas to actually get your registered nurse's license. So typically, the majority of our students will pass that exam the first time around. We prepare you really well for that exam. We have a lot of hands-on stuff that you can do. The way that nursing school works for us is your first 2 years are prereqs. Your sophomore year, you apply to the actual nursing program. Once you get in, that's when you start working in our simulation lab, where we have these dummies that are worth like 80K. They blink, their chest moves, a little creepy, but you definitely get to work with them and kind of get a feel like you're working with a real human before you actually work on a real human. And you also, go to local hospitals, do clinicals, and that kind of thing. I'm going to play this video. Hopefully the sound works and everything, but we do have a lot of research. We are a really big research school, so if you're actually wanting to get into a lab and actually, maybe research a cure for cancer, or the video that I'm about to show you is about clean drinking water, then you're definitely going to have that opportunity. You can actually start as a freshman. You don't have to wait till you're, a junior or something like that. Just link up with a professor, and then they can definitely, get you going in the lab and, do what you want to do. So let's play this video.
I pursued a degree in environmental science because I want to create a positive change in this world. Clean drinking water is a necessity we sometimes take for granted. I had a first-hand experience of the side effects from the lack of sanitation when I was in 4th grade in Vietnam. From then on, I knew I had to enact change, one way or another. Environmental sciences is not just something I study, it's something that really gets me excited. Lamar University is the land of opportunity because I found my niche here and became active with many organizations that aligned with my passion. I'm encouraged to take on more research opportunities and become involved on campus. I never thought I would find a place like LU that I could fit in so well. The diversity of thought and culture drives me to succeed. I'm not just another number here. I'm hoping to solve problems that need solutions. My name is Chan Win, and I am just one of Lamar University's many stories. We are LU.
Hopefully the sound was not glitchy or anything. I know sometimes it can get a little weird whenever you're playing a video over Zoom, but these are all on our YouTube channel. So if it is a little glitchy, just go on there if you're interested. But the next college is our College of Business. So we do have quite a few different majors that you can pick from, a lot of different concentrations as well. I know one of the big popular ones is construction management. So if you're interested, in the construction field, you like to work with your hands and build things, this is a really good major for you because it's gonna, instead of you just starting off as like the very bottom general laborer, you can actually go in, and be like a foreman or the manager of the actual project going on. So you definitely, start off at a little bit of a higher salary, of course, with that, and you get to, lead people. So that's really exciting. If you are interested in business, but maybe you're not exactly, too sure if you want to do management, marketing, human resources, we do usually suggest that students, pick the general business track. Your first 2 years are going to be the same, usually no matter which one you pick. And that way, you take a class in each of them. I know I took an intro to marketing class, and there's, a marketing or an intro to management class that you can take, so you can kind of get your feel for which one you're most passionate about, because they all have like their little differences here and there. So you can always do that. And then, at the end of your sophomore year, definitely select, which one you want to go into, or you can keep in the general business track if you wanted to as well. Cool little fact about us. So one of the founders of Jason Stelly actually graduated from Lamar University. So we do have quite a few, good success stories. So if you're wanting to maybe have your own business, maybe do entrepreneurship or something like that and be your own CEO, then we're definitely a really good place for that. I will say we do have a little finance center to help, track stock markets and all of that good jazz. So if you're into, business, definitely check us out. We also do have a really good Master's of Business Administration program, and I do believe we have a fast track for that. So, you might be able to complete everything. Instead of doing 6 years, it'll only be about 5 years or so. Next college is our College of Education and Human Development. So obviously in this one, you're going to have your education. If you are wanting to be a teacher, typically if you want to teach, anything up through middle school, you can just get your regular education degree. If you want to teach maybe high school, you do typically major in what you want to teach. So if you want to be like a math teacher, you would major in mathematics and then just get your teaching certification. but this is where your main education courses are going to be at. Exercise science and fitness management is also a really popular major with us. Typically, students that want to do pre-physical therapy, this is a major that you'll actually pick. It will help you get all the courses that you need to go on to your professional school afterwards. The next big one is going to be kinesiology. This for us is actually geared more towards you working in a high school setting, or middle school, being an actual coach, football coach, softball coach, volleyball coach, whatever it is you want to do. It's more of the physical education side. And then for fashion retailing and merchandising, I think this major is actually pretty cool. So it's not really so much of learning how to design your own clothes. You will have some courses where you can learn about different fabrics and stuff like that, but it's more of the business side of it. So one good example is, I know an old coworker of mine, she had a friend that worked at, I think it was Michael Kors or something like that. And she would be the one that would basically decide what they were going to sell and, make sure that everything coming in was up to the company's satisfaction. You could also work at like Dillard's, where they have multiple brands, and just go and meet these different companies and see if you want to sell their product in your store. So it's really more of deciding what's sold in the store versus designing what is sold in the store. And then college engineering, this is definitely going to be one of our popular colleges. It's a little bit smaller because we only have a few different majors, but typically nursing and engineering are what we're kind of most known for. We do have 5 different engineering specific majors. So chemical, civil and environmental, electrical, industrial, and mechanical. These are all going to have a heavy science and math component to it. And then for industrial technology, this one right here, it doesn't have too much of a higher math component. So if you're maybe not that great at math, which, math is not always that easy. I can definitely say that, going through calculus 3 and everything like that. But if maybe you're not too strong in that suit, but you still want to go into, industrial field, then that might be the perfect plan for you. Because like I said, it's not as math heavy. Whenever you do major in engineering your senior year, you do have a senior design project. So if you see these pictures over here, this steel bridge is actually something that they put together within the civil engineering department. There is actually competition. So it's actually pretty cool. You go and you design this bridge, and then you have only a certain amount of time to assemble it. Judges are constantly watching you. You can only have a certain amount of people out there building it. And then whoever's bridge can basically hold the most weight, because they load weight on top of it, then you are the winner. And then I know for mechanical engineering, this one down here, the bottom picture, that is a go-kart. You actually do get to build that from scratch as a mechanical engineering student. And then you actually get to go and compete, and somebody gets to race in it, which is pretty cool. So if you're interested, just know in engineering, just know you do get a lot of hands-on. I know one of the engineering classes I took, I actually got to build a hammer out of like just blocks of metal. You get to use a CNC machine and kind of just wind it all down, and it was actually pretty fun. But let me show you this video. It's about a group of students who did an underwater robot. So let me show you this, and then we will move on. and two more things I want to add before I do move on. We are ranked 5th in the nation for our return on investment with our engineering programs. So because our tuition is a lot more affordable than some places, you aren't putting as much money into it, but you definitely still start out. I think the average salary for, somebody in engineering, depending on which field you are in, is about $90K per year. So you're definitely going to start making, the big bucks and everything like that. We do have a really good internship and co-op program as well. So you have an opportunity to get some experience before you get out of college, which definitely boosts, the salary that you start out with. And then if you are interested, this is kind of like a general video, but we do have a video for each specific major on our YouTube channel. So, if you're interested in one of them specifically and you know which one it is, you can go ahead and, go on YouTube and learn a little bit more about that one. So for our College of Fine Arts and Communication, this is going to be where all of your artsy classes are at. So this is where you have studio art, which is going to be photography, ceramics, printmaking, drawing, that kind of thing. We do have graphic design. We also have advertising, broadcasting, journalism, film studies, which I will say I almost took a class in this, and it would have just been watching movies all semester long and writing papers about them. So definitely a really fun college to be in. I will say that this is also where our American Sign Language is. We are one of very few universities in the state of Texas that actually offers an American Sign Language program. We do have 3 different tracks. We have an education track. So maybe you want to work, as like a high school teacher teaching ASL as a foreign language, or if you want to be, an actual interpreter, we do have that track as well. And then we also have an advocacy track. So if you wanted to maybe work for a nonprofit to help make things more accessible for hard of hearing students, then we also have that track. We do have a music program. So we actually have almost 100% job placement rate for our students that graduate through the music program. Whether you want to do voice or instrument, you want to teach it or write it or perform it, we do have you covered on all of those bases. We also do have a theater and dance program. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one. This video is a little bit longer, but it's one of my favorite videos, and it's all about this college. So hopefully, again, the noise or the volume has been okay and hasn't been too glitchy or anything. Let me play this, and then we'll move on.
Here at Lamar University's College of Fine Arts and Communication, we collaborate across disciplines that allows us to innovate and create. We focus on forward-looking programs, cutting-edge content delivered by professors who have real-time knowledge and experience. As a result, we provide our students with the skill sets to be lifelong learners and enable them to improve the societies they live in.
The Department of Communication here at Lamar is focused on helping our students communicate messages to audiences, and we explore that through a variety of venues: film and theater studies, public relations, corporate communication, and journalism.
Good morning and welcome to On Campus at Lamar University here on KVOU 91.3.
University Press is the opportunity for students on campus to get a good hands-on professional experience while producing work, building a portfolio, and setting themselves up for a career in media.
In the Department of Speech and Hearing Sciences, we have a fully functioning clinic where we serve pediatrics through geriatrics in speech, language, hearing, voice, and swallowing. We integrate innovative teaching, quality clinical research, and sustained community service.
Here at the Department of Deaf Studies and Deaf Education, we have deaf and hearing students who we train to become teachers of ASL in grades K through 12, future interpreters in educational settings, and we also have graduate programs for master's and doctoral students. We have worked hard to set up a deaf world within a hearing university. Interested in a career in art and design? Consider Lamar University. Lamar University is accredited by the National Association of Schools of Art and Design. Locally committed and globally engaged, the Department of Art prepares its students for professional careers in a supportive environment that encourages our students to maximize their creative potential. LU Art is a place to be creative.
The goal of the Dishman Art Museum at Lamar University is to educate and inspire the students faculty, the staff, as well as the greater community by providing access to great art, artists, and ideas through challenging exhibitions and programs.
Our newly renovated Jimmy Simmons Music Building is a state-of-the-art facility with a gorgeous 200-seat recital hall and large ensemble rehearsal hall. With our dedicated faculty, first-rate students, and excellent facilities, it's no surprise that our job placement rate is just shy of 100%.
A degree in theater and dance from Lamar University will prepare you for many different fields, both in front of the stage or behind the stage, as an actor, director, designer, choreographer, or professional dancer.
So come to Lamar and join us.
Video always makes me a little emotional. Proud to be a Cardinal. Anyways, moving on, switching gears a little bit. We're done with the colleges, so now we're going to talk more about, student life and admissions and all of that fun stuff. So at Lamar, we do have over 200 student organizations that you can get involved with. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give you is please join something. Whenever you get to college, you need a support system. You need somebody that you can study with, or, if maybe you don't do so well on an exam, because it might happen whenever you get to college. You have friends that you can go and depend on and rely on. We do have a lot of organizations, like I said, that you can join. We have professional ones, we have social ones. If you see on here, we have a Pokemon club. So if you want to play, Pokemon cards or go out and catch Pokemon on campus, you definitely can do that. I know I was part of a Greek organization, and that, has helped me tremendously throughout college and after, just a network that I've built from that. But like I said, a lot of different things. Usually at the beginning of the semester, beginning of the fall semester, you will have a student organization fair. So you can actually go and look at all the different organizations that we have and see which ones you're going to be interested in. You could always, pick a couple. Just one piece of advice on top of that, just don't overload yourself. Maybe your first semester, choose one or two, get the hang of college. And then if you feel like you can join more and actually, fully contribute yourself to those, then, definitely can do it. There's not a limit on how many you can join. Just from personal experience, don't overdo it at the beginning, just so that way, you can get the hang of college and, how it works and classes and all of that fun stuff. So for athletics, we are a Division I university. We are part of the Southland Conference. We actually have 17 D1 sports. I don't think this is a full list of everything, but if you go to lamar.edu/athletics, you can definitely find out more about, the different programs that we have that you might want to be a part of. If you are a senior right now, just make sure, get in contact with your coach. Let your coach know that you're interested in possibly playing at Lamar, so that way your coach can reach out to us to let us know. As I try to tell students, we can't necessarily recruit you if we don't know about you. So, just make sure you do that. You can also reach out to me. I have a recruit questionnaire form that you can fill out. I can't get too much into, the whole sports thing, because NCAA really limits us as admission counselors on what we can do. So just keep that in mind, but definitely, make sure you're signed up with the National Clearinghouse and all of that fun stuff, so that way you can actually be eligible to play sports in college. If you are not wanting to make a big time commitment to, a D1 sport where you have practice a lot and games a lot, we do have intramural sports and club sports. So with intramural, you do play against other, students at different universities, but it's not going to be as competitive or as time consuming. And then with club sports, it's just other Lamar students that don't want to be cooped up in their room, that, want to be active and everything like that. We actually do have a recreational center, which you pay for in your fees every semester. So definitely make sure that you use it, but there's a lot of cardio equipment. There is actually a little smoothie center in there, giant rock wall, basketball courts, badminton, like a freestyle court, so you can play badminton and volleyball. There is also a little arcade room, so some flat screen TVs, pool tables, all of that fun stuff. And then for residence life, this is where we differ a lot more than other universities, just because, typically whenever you think about dorm life or, living in a residence hall, you think of 2 beds right next to each other. You don't have any privacy. But we are a little bit different. So if you look at the floor plan on the right-hand side, that is how the majority of our rooms are set up. So you walk into a living room area, and then you and your roommate have separate bedrooms. You have a door, you have a lock on your door and everything. So that way, you know, you can lock up your snacks, you can lock up your electronics, and know that everything is safe in your bedroom. You know, especially if maybe you're not, you know, too familiar with your roommate just yet. I know I would be like that. So just, you know, it's always safe and nice to have like your own personal space. The room is an 8x10 room, so it is like a decent size. And that is, I don't want to say it's a walk-in closet, but it's a pretty decent closet, and it has a mirror on the front, so you'll have enough room to put like a trunk in there if you have clothes, a lot of shoes, or anything like that. And then most importantly, at least my favorite part when it comes to our dorm rooms, our residence halls, besides having 2 different bedrooms, you do have a bathroom that just you and your roommate share. So you're not, you know, going to a bathroom down the hallway, using the same shower that 30 other people have used that same day or anything like that. It's just you and your roommate. So it's definitely a little bit more cleaner. You don't have to wear shower shoes or anything like that. The floor plan on the left-hand side, we do have some rooms that are offered like this, simply because Lamar is growing a little bit, and it's also a little bit more of an affordable option for students that are looking to save some money. So on one side, you still have just one person in one room, so it's still a private room. The other room, you do have a bunk bed in it. So a little bit different, you know, you would have, you know, 2 other roommates besides just one other roommate, but it's still just you 3 sharing the bathroom. You still somewhat have a living room. It's a little bit different. You're not going to have couches in there and stuff just because the desks for the people that are sharing the room have to go somewhere. But there is a big price difference. So typically if you're in the regular room, like on the right-hand side, it's about 29, we'll just say 3,000. It's about 3K per semester for that room. But if you're in the room on the left-hand side, maybe you still have the private room, maybe you don't want to give up your privacy, that is about $300 cheaper. And then the bunk bed room is about almost a grand cheaper. So you definitely can save a little bit of money that way. You do have a mini fridge and a microwave that come along with it. All the furniture is provided, so you don't have to worry about that. It is a twin extra long bed, so you have a little bit more wiggle room if you are really tall. I'm short, so it doesn't really matter about that for me. But just know it is, you know, a twin extra long. And then you do also have cable and Wi-Fi high-speed internet that are equipped in the room already. So if you want to bring a TV and hook it up in your bedroom or in the living room, you definitely can. One thing that is not pictured that I like to point out, because we are in Texas and it gets hot here, there is a thermostat right here on the wall next to where your mini fridge is. So you can set the temperature how you and your roommate like it. I do think they have a cap on it to where you can't go below a certain point, but that's just to make sure, you know, it doesn't freeze or mess up your AC or anything like that, because you definitely don't want to go without AC in Texas. Sure, we all know that. The last thing I'll mention for this is you do have a washateria in each of the dorm rooms, or not dorm rooms, but halls. So instead of you having to scrape up quarters or have a money card that you have to reload, it is completely free for you. So you would just go and take your clothes, throw it in there, put your soap in there, and push the button, and then you're good to go. So you can save all of that change for dollar menu or ramen noodles or what have you whenever you're in college. And then visiting campus. So with COVID, you know, I know some of you are virtual right now, joining through Zoom. So if you are wanting to go on campus and visit, we are having some on-campus visits. We have limited them. So instead of offering campus visits every single day, I believe it's just on Tuesdays and Thursdays that we're offering them. And we are limiting how many students can come. I don't believe that we're offering group tours for like high school groups or anything right now, but if you and your family wanted to go down to Beaumont and actually visit the campus, you definitely can. You will only be allowed to bring one parent or guardian with you. I know usually I'd like to suggest students, you know, make a road trip out of it with your closest friends, share the costs and everything, but due to COVID and us wanting to keep you safe, you definitely can only bring one person. You will also have to wear masks whenever you're inside the building, but it's offered Tuesdays at 11 a.m. and then Thursdays at 2:30. And we do also have some live visits as well, like some Zoom visits, and I know some of them are up on YouTube. But you can always do that if you wanted to. We do have a virtual tour as well that has been updated to show all of our renovations, so you can also choose to do that if you wanted to. To find out more about all the visit opportunities that we have, you can just go to lamar.edu/visit to see that. So one of the most important things that we should talk about today is how much does it cost to come to Lamar University? So typically per semester, if you pick the lowest room cost and the lowest meal plan cost, it's going to be about $8,700 per semester. That does actually include, an estimate for your books and supplies. If you go to Amazon, you probably won't spend $500 on your books. But we do have a bookstore on campus, so you can always go there if you don't want to do Amazon and you just want to buy them directly from the university. For your tuition, this is a full course load, so typically you take probably 12 to 15 hours your first semester. The max is 18. So that's definitely going to be for 12 hours, so usually that's going to be what you're paying. Usually I think I did about 15, and it was never more than, or usually about 5K or maybe 5,300 at the most for the tuition. It will depend on what classes you're taking. So like if you're doing a chemistry class, you might have like a lab fee associated with that. So it's just going to really depend, but this is a really good estimate of what you will be paying. It's not going to be like tremendously higher than this or anything like that. And then if you do take off this estimate for your books, you're only looking like 8,200 at that point. So we do have a few different meal plans that you can choose from. That is what your board is right here, is your meal plan. The cheapest one is actually the most popular one because it gives you more time or more money to eat at like Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Jason's Deli, Papa John's, those kinds of places, instead of just, eating in the dining hall more, which the dining hall actually has pretty good food. So it's not going to be just like, meh cafeteria food. Like it's actually pretty decent. But I do hear that, eating it for 4 months in a row can get a little old. So that's why students like to have, more dining dollars to be able to spend at other cafes on campus. So scholarships, this stuff looks a lot different. Usually over here, we would have minimum SAT or ACT test scores that you would have to get to be able to, be eligible for the scholarships, but we are test optional. So we actually won't even need test scores to be able to give you a scholarship. If you do not have the opportunity to take your test, do not risk your life trying to, possibly getting COVID to go and take your SAT or ACT, because here at Lamar, we do not need it. We will look at other factors like your academic major, your leadership abilities and specialized skills, probably also like your high school GPA, and just basically your overall academic achievement. But we do have some pretty good scholarships. So this top one up here, that is $80K. That is actually a full ride scholarship. So it would pay for everything. I had a friend that had actually paid for his study abroad trip to Ireland. So, a new laptop and everything like that. So anything that you need educational wise, this should definitely take care of. And then we have some lower paying scholarships. So like this very bottom one, Distinguished Scholars, that would be $20K over 4 years, so about $5K per semester. And then we do actually have another one that is not on here, but it is our University Scholar. And usually that one had, if I remember correctly, had a little bit of a lower SAT or ACT requirement. So a lot of students were actually able to get that one. And I believe that one was about $500 per semester. Not too much, but still $500 is better than no money. Free money is great. So we do actually award over $20 million with the scholarships per year. The way that it works for us is after you get accepted, you submit one general application, and then it will give you a list of all the scholarships that you qualify for. So that way you can go and fill out, those applications specifically. So that way you don't have to do every single application that we offer, because we actually have over 600 different scholarship opportunities. So instead of filling out every single one, we will give you a list of which ones you actually qualify for to kind of help you out. So, you're not going through everything, because it can get a little tedious. So, but if you are interested, I know like outside scholarships, we do accept those as well. I always used fastweb.com to apply for scholarships. So you can also look on there. But the biggest thing, like I said, we do not need your SAT or ACT. It will not give you an advantage over, other students if you do submit it. Of course, if you want to, maybe you got a really great score, you can always submit it, but just know that it is not necessary for us. So how do I apply? This is also a little bit different than how it was if you, were in one of my presentations last year. So if you are a freshman student, first time in college, Even if you've done dual credit, you will still be considered a freshman, so make sure you apply for that whenever you're submitting your application on Apply Texas. But you will submit your official high school transcript, and then if you've done any dual credit transcripts, if you've done any dual credit classes, make sure you also submit that transcript for us. So the way that we are reviewing applications being test optional, if you are in the top 50% of your class, you are automatically accepted. Last year, it was only the top 25%, but because of being test optional, we are now doing the top 50%. So if you are in that, congratulations, more than likely you're gonna be accepted. And then if you are not, if you were in the lower 50% of your class, or are you from a school that does not rank, or you're a homeschool student, we will just review your transcript, like I said, overall academic achievement for that. And then one of the other big differences besides us being test optional is for our dual credit students. So it is very important that if you've done dual credit, you send us that transcript, because if you have completed 18 or more credit hours, like through TCC or something like that, and you have at least a 2.0 GPA, you will also automatically be accepted by that. It's, like I said, it's very important to turn that transcript in, because we need that to verify how many courses you've taken through dual credit and that GPA. So definitely do that. If by chance you go through all 3 of these reviews and maybe we're not able to offer you admissions based on the information you submitted, you will receive an email. If you are not submitted or admitted by test optional policies, then we will, see if you have an SAT or ACT that you want to submit. Again, it's not, needed necessarily unless you don't make it through one of the top or the first 3 application review processes. And then we do actually have a freshman appeal now. So for that, we would actually, ask for some letters of recommendation, and probably, I think it's also a letter of intent, like explaining, your story. Maybe, you had a grandparent or a parent pass away or something like that, and that maybe, hurt you a semester or 2. Definitely, just let us know what happened, and your letter of intent, basically, and your letters of recommendation. Our application is open right now, so you can go ahead and submit it. We are on applytexas.org. We don't use Common App or anything like that. It's just Apply Texas. Make sure that you do get your stuff submitted no later than August 4th for the fall semester. And then if you're interested in for the summer semester, then it will be May 18th that you want to have all your stuff submitted by. And then here are just, the SAT, ACT requirements if you already have a test score and you want to see if you're eligible for admissions this way. Like I said, top 50% is accepted if you are in an unranked school or if you are homeschooled, which I think Lamar High School ranks. So this probably doesn't apply to you guys. Then it's a 1040 or 20. And then if you're in the 3rd or 4th quarter, it's a 1080 or 21. But like I said, we are test optional. Does not give you a benefit to have your test score sent in to us, especially for scholarships or financial aid or anything like that. So if you do not have your exam and you have not taken it, I know SAT has been kind of hard to take your exam, even if you are willing to, because people keep getting rescheduled. Don't stress about that too much. Go through our test optional policy, and then if by chance you don't get in that way, I will work with you and we will go from there. So application timeline, like I said, our application did open August 1st. So you can go ahead and apply for, fall 2021, spring 2022, or summer 2022. After we receive all your documents, it only takes about us 3 to 6 weeks to be able to get you in a decision back. It was a little bit quicker beforehand whenever we were just going solely off of test scores. So now that we're in the test optional policy, with having to review all of your information you sent into us, it does take a little bit longer, but we are still on a rolling process, so it won't take too long to get it. You will be sent an email and also a letter to your mailing address. And then you also will receive, I think it's an email every single month that your application is incomplete, just to remind you about that and let you know what you're missing. And then, of course, your lovely admissions counselors will reach out to me. That's me, for you guys. As soon as we get your application in, and I'll kind of help facilitate the whole process and walk you through everything. I know Miss Post is very good about getting transcripts in for you guys, so no worries there. But like I said, here for you for everything. If you have done AP or dual credit courses, like I said, definitely send your dual credit transcript in. You want to get credit for those classes. you went through all that extra work, so you definitely want your college credit. But if you have taken AP exams, we can also accept those. Of course, you do have to get a specific score on those for them to count in college, but we do accept those. So as it says over here, we do require at least a 3 for most AP tests to be awarded college credit. So just send that in. And then once you are accepted, the biggest thing that I can tell you, and this is general, so wherever you are applying to, because I know, you want to keep your options open, so Lamar might not be your only place. Activate that school email. Typically, financial aid will only email you to that school email to make sure that your information is kept safe. And you won't get that if you don't have it activated. Of course, I know if you're applying to 5 different places, that's going to be 5 different emails that you got to check. Can get a little, tedious and overwhelming, but set them up, have it maybe to where you check it every Sunday, every Saturday, every Wednesday, something like that, just so you can keep up with everything financial aid, and usually anything else that's really important, like advising, we usually email you there as well. Make sure you also apply for financial aid and scholarships. Your financial aid application will open up October 1st. Same with our scholarship application, that's the same day that it opens. Of course, you're going to turn in your bacterial meningitis vaccine. We'll work on that together. I'll make sure I remind you. You do have a new student orientation. That's not going to be until usually the summer. So even if you apply like this semester or during the spring, we're going to have a little bit of time before we get to orientation. But that's also something that I kind of help remind you on. I help walk you through all of this. So don't worry too much about all your steps and stuff. That is what I'm here for. So we do have some great campus resources. I'm only going to point out a couple of these, even though they're all really great. But we do offer free tutoring. So if you start to struggle in a class, it is completely free. I know right now with COVID, I think they are offering online. So you would meet with your tutor, via Zoom. Who knows what it's going to look like in a year whenever you guys get to campus. Hopefully COVID is just gone, eradicated, and just vanished, so we can get back to normal life. And then the other one I want to mention is Cardinal Communities. I mentioned this because we are about 5 hours from campus. So I live up in the Fort Worth area with you guys. So it's about 5 hours from the DFW area, depending on where you live. Whether you live up a little bit more north, it might be a little bit longer. But you are, going to be away from your family and kind of like what you know. So joining a Cardinal community is a group of you and 19 other students, and you take a course together. It's not a course that you have to pay for or anything, but usually you just meet once a week together. You have a peer mentor and a faculty mentor, kind of like what I was talking about, with joining an organization. This gives you that support system. It also gives you a faculty member that you can talk to. Maybe they can be your mentor. I know I have one of my old professors, he wrote me a letter of recommendation for grad school. Still keep up with him on Facebook and all that stuff, that I've graduated and everything like that. But you definitely form bonds with these people. So this is kind of just a way to push you into a little support system without you having to go through that awkwardness and making new friends, because they're already there for you. And they are based on, different topics. So I know we have some that are for specific majors. We also have one, and the biggest one that sticks out to me is Conspiracy Theories 101. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, like I said, it's going to be different topics that you can choose from, and things that you're going to be interested in. And that is it. I know that was a lot of information, but here's my contact information. If you want to take a picture of it, screenshot it, write it down, however you want to do it, please feel free to give me a text or a call if you need anything, or you can email me. Like I said, I'm definitely here for you guys, no matter what. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Are there any questions right now from anybody that's watching?
Do you have like, you said you had like interpreter for the deaf, but do you have one for like any other languages, like for Spanish, like a major for translation and interpreter?
I am not sure. I know we offer Spanish as a major, but I'm not sure if we offer like an ASL track for that specifically. I'm not too sure. I can, if you want, I can find out. If you want to maybe shoot your contact information into the chat box, maybe your email, I can find out. Or if you just want to reach out to me, either way, if you don't want to share it with me, and I can definitely find out that information for you and then let you know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, Well, I think that is it, Ms. Post.
Yeah. I think the number one question that I get with students, and I think you mentioned it, but I just wanted to like reiterate it, for automatic scholarships, they don't need their test scores, correct, for Lamar?
That is right. So for scholarships or financial aid, we don't need your test scores. Like I said, it'll just be based off of your academic achievement, your GPA, stuff that you were involved with in high school, and that kind of thing.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm gonna stop recording.